Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome to another stream. Let's give it a couple of minutes to see if anyone else is gonna join us. And we will start right away with the stream. Yo, what's up, Swelly? What's up, Adam? What's up, Mad? What's up, Anis? What's good, guys? Hope everyone is doing fine. Hope you all had a wonderful week. Anyone sword? Yeah, I took a small sword, wasn't really sure about it, up around here on the first signs of absorption, into here, into these highs, but I'm not really sure about it. Still we're into resistance. Only possible area of bounce is right around here. So if we get a bounce here, we remain bullish, but a bearish line in the sand, previous month value high, is going to provide some resistance, so we'll see how it goes. Anyways, let's wait a bit to see if anyone else is going to join us. For anyone that is just joining, I will be doing these streams every single week, every single Friday around this time, either on YouTube, or I will be setting a public channel on Discord. So yeah, maybe next one is gonna be on Discord so I can know you guys better, because you know I'm using Discord way more often than YouTube. And of course the recording is gonna be on YouTube. YouTube easier. I don't know. If it's easier for you guys, what can I say? It is easier for me to stream on Discord. And there also we can have a better interaction with the chat, right? Because you can upload also images, you can upload also charts you're looking at. Yeah, of course, Anis, of course. So, for anyone that doesn't know me, I'm Mando. I have been trading for the last 5 years. I've been trading full time for the last 2 or 3 years. Um, so yeah, I also run a group called The Lore, where I'm sharing my analysis, my trades, streaming daily on many different topics. I'm mainly trading BTC and alts, but I'm also lately interested in trading futures like NQ, ES, and maybe some gold here and there. I used to scalp a lot, but I have changed my system and trading more into like intraday um, and holding trades for longer, right? With a higher time frame perspective. Well, we can take some scalps here and there. So let's do a weekly review, starting off with what happened this week and what trades we could have taken and what trades I took with the team. All right, so starting off, let me get rid of everything. Before I talk about the trades we could have taken or the trades we took, let me have a look at where we're at in terms of value, in terms of VWAP, TPO, and all that stuff. All right. So starting off with the VWAP, let me zoom into here. As we talked about last week as well, we are sitting right into the 2024 VWAP, right? So here we have found some support finally. We actually had a decent buyback above that level, and now as we can see we're holding above, which is a good sign until it isn't, right? Because we can simply do something like deviate these range highs as well and go back down below and then go all the way into the 50s, which is the 2024 value area low. All right, but until that happens, in my opinion, we remain bullish. Of course, we're looking for higher right now. As long as we're trending above range highs, we can be looking for a move all the way up to 80k, which is the 2024 value area high, right? Or we can simply keep on chopping around these levels. We'll jump on lower time frame to see what's going on. But on higher time frame, we know that we're sitting in the support, right? We have formed a range here as I was expecting from a couple months ago. If you guys were watching the YouTube weekly outlooks, I mentioned it plenty of times that I'm expecting some sort of range here before anything. So yeah, let's jump right into quarterly VWAP, which played out pretty nicely. Right, we simply ignore the previous quarter value. We mainly focus on the developing quarter value. Hey Blackbird, what's up, man? So we did have quarterly developing quarterly value area low, capping upside until this changed, right? The flow changed, the momentum changed. We did have some lows holding, some push above developing quarterly value area low, and a reclaim into it. This was a pretty decent bounce. So right now we're looking for this range to trade, right? We're looking for to trade 75k all the way into 65k, right? Now, what happens if this fails to break above here? Basically, we are trading the range. We keep on trading the range, right? We keep on trading within these levels. This is looking like on a Friday, it's looking like a short squeeze so far. I don't really know yet, but yeah, it's looking like a short squeeze. It's unfortunate that we didn't take these highs out to also reject into this area, but it is what it is. Right, we'll jump on lower time frame to see what's actually going on. So, as long as we are holding above the 66-65k area, which is the quarterly value area low, we're good. All right, so what we could be doing here, another leg lower before we go higher, right? Or we could be simply trading within here, right? By the time we accept back below 65k, in my opinion, it looks over. I think we're gonna be taking out these lows and potentially even lower towards the 50s. Looks very distributive. Was also looking for the high to be taken out. Yeah, that's unfortunate. It happens though. We did have a pretty important level right there. I'll show you in a bit. So let's jump right into the previous month, the monthly value, sorry. Starting off with the previous month value. If we look at it, we did have some pretty cool rotations into it. Starting off the previous month value area low bounce, followed by rejection, of course, in the previous month VWAP until we accepted above, followed by rejection in the previous month value area high, and then again a full rotation towards the value area low, right? Where we got the bounce, we accepted above previous month VWAP, we spent time and space above here, we built some momentum, during like this was like 3 days, I think, and we finally got the move up towards previous month value high, which is the resistance that I mentioned earlier. So resistance until proven otherwise, right? Pretty logical level to take some shorts, pretty logical level to have a rejection. As long as we trade below here, we can get another push higher. If we don't manage to reclaim above and start slow grinding above, accepting above basically, we remain bearish, right? We remain bearish until, in my opinion, these lows into previous month VWAP and potentially even lower, because we do have monthly value high, developing monthly value high aligning here. So if we get acceptance below it, we're looking for this beautiful rotation towards the other extreme, right? The other extreme, which is also the monthly value area low, right? But if this doesn't hold, basically if it holds, we're trading the developing month value, right here. Else we're trading a bigger rotation towards the value area low, right? Where here, as you can notice, we do have some poor lows, some equal lows, liquidity basically resting below here. So I think if we come down here, I'm not really sure if we're gonna be bouncing or not. We'll see about it on the reaction, right? I'd also add that it's a 2024 high that is acting as resistance. 2024 high. You mean about this one? Yeah, okay. It's a bit irrelevant for me, but yeah, this is a good level basically. If you mark out a box into here, yeah, definitely. This area is basically a big level to flip. Yeah, just confluence, exactly. So, moving forward, weekly value, sorry, where we did have a beautiful rotation. Last week we talked about the possibility of opening below uh, the previous week value, right? And I told you that if early in the week we don't reclaim and we spend time and space below here, this is probably gonna reject, right? As it has happened plenty of times. Like for example here, we opened up below the previous week value area low, or for example here, we opened up below the previous week value area low, we spent time and space, and we just simply kept on going lower. Now, the fact that we reclaimed right into Monday and weekly open was really bullish for me, at least. We kept on slow grinding, accepted above previous week VWAP as well. This was the first short level I had in mind. I took some trades here, but did I take shorts or long? Wait, I don't remember. Yeah, I took some shorts here, but I took profit aggressively, right? As you can see. I'll talk about them later. So, by the time we flipped, we got a pretty nice move towards our POI here into 72k basically, right? And also in the previous week value area high, right? Now, this acted as resistance until it wasn't. We basically had a range within previous week value area high and previous week VWAP, capping downside along with developing week VWAP, right? As you can see here, we build a solid base on lower time frame above weekly value high, and we finally got the drive higher. This was more like a short squeeze, as we can see. So yeah, this is basically the level to keep on holding above, which might be accepting below right now, either here or a bit higher into the 73k area where previous month value high is. If we keep on rejecting and accepting below these levels, we're going lower towards these lows, definitely, in my opinion, and potentially even lower. Right, so let's get rid of this and let's go back. Oops. Let's go back into our chart. But before we do that, let's talk about TPO. All right, so starting off the weekly TPO, actually until it loads up, let's start off with the daily TPO. We on Monday we started trading back inside these multiple days of value, of composite value. Let me merge, stop merge. All right, so by the time we started accepting above here, if you notice, by the time we started accepting, expand this one as well, above 68.5, 68.4 area, it was basically the level to hold for us to go higher. We filled the inefficiency that was sitting above, but it wasn't enough to go lower, right? We just had basically the prime example of acceptance above value, right? So as we had that, then my first thought that was that we were going all the way towards the NPOC above, right? The inefficiency above, basically, right? But as we started chopping around here, I was like, okay, another value is being built. So let's see what we had here. And let's see some triggers that occurred. So this 3-day composite basically acted as, gave us some pretty good trades. I will show you later on the chart. But the absolute trigger was after we had acceptance above here. After we had acceptance above 70.6, it was basically the trigger to start going long, with the invalidation being acceptance back inside 70.6, right? So easy trade into the open. Unfortunately for me, I'm not awake into the open. It's like 2 a.m. for me. So yeah, easy trade to target the NPOC. And now as we come back into these composite value area high, it will be interesting to see what we're gonna be getting for a lower time frame scalp, possibly. All right, so let's go into the weekly TPO. If we zoom out, we do have a 4-week composite going on. Let's merge with the possibility of it being a 5-week composite if we start spending time and space back into 69k, 68k region. As of now, it looks like acceptance above, right? But if on the weekend we come back into these levels and we spend time and space above here, below here, it's looking like a 5-week composite, more likely. We'll see. On Sunday, it will make more sense to talk about it. So let's go on our chart, and now let's talk about the trades we had this week and the trades we could have taken. Let's bring our levels here. All right, do we need to? Okay, so most trades were based on lower time frame. So let me start off on Monday. On Monday, I didn't took a trade, but I posted about this possibility of this being like some sort of sweep with acceptance above, slow grind, multiple entries we could have taken here, right? Something like this on the second bounce, targeting the previous week VWAP. Basically, this was a beautiful rotation from previous week value low all the way towards previous week VWAP, right? And then the other trades that I took was based on some sort of rejection we had on previous week VWAP, right? Some sort of rejection we had here, some sort of distribution forming. Unfortunately, they pumped it back into my entry. I took some profits out of here, so this was like a 1.5 hour win in total. Don't remember, I have it on the setups channel for the guys in the Discord. So after this bounce right here, we were started chopping into this area, right? By the time we got a drive higher here and started accepting above previous week VWAP, this was another good entry. A good entry here with take profits into previous week value high, right? Also on Tuesday stream, we did have this idea of sweeping this level into 4-week value high / previous week VWAP. So right around here was another good area to load up some longs, better longs into this lower time frame slow grind with a tight stop and a take profit into previous week value high. Right. This phrase I faded myself, but it is what it is. Your VA label mark from TPO. Yeah, I marked this from TPO, the 4-week value highs from the composite I showed earlier, and the previous week VWAP and all the stuff is from the VWAP. Previous week VWAP, previous week value high, all of this is from the VWAP. Now, coming into previous week value high, my gut was saying that we will be getting some sort of distribution forming here, and as we can see, we did have distribution forming here. Let me show you. Unfortunately, I was reading this live in the Discord. We caught a decent trade. I made some of this small L back, but for a bigger trade, I wasn't active to take. It is what it is. So what was the trigger here? Lower highs being formed, breakout structure, right? Distribution, basically this is showing us weakness. Perfect trigger was around here, short around here, stops at the current high, take profit at the other extreme, right? Or the equal lows sitting below us, right? So this was basically the trigger for the short, a perfect trigger. It is what it is though. Now, going into these lows, starting the session, we did have London lows. Let me show you. London lows and multiple lows sitting right around here. We're about to be opening. Actually, we had opened New York session. We took them out, and basically this was CPI as well, if I remember. We did have a drive higher into CPI. This got rejected right away, but the flow kept on going, momentum started hitting in, and that's where I took a long. we stopped into these lows, as I thought this was like an SFP, and in the end it was an SFP, but it took time to play out, right? So the long I took profit basically into this POI, right? Let me show you. Let me mark it out with a box. Why this POI? This is basically the extreme, right? A gap with internal liquidity into the order block, all the stuff. This is basically the extreme of this move right here, right? Another trade I took here based off the fact that we were holding daily VWAP and structure and all the stuff. And of course, another trade here because we're still sitting into a long POI, right? Still holding daily VWAP, and this ended up as a sweep into this highs, and that is why I took profit right here. I posted as well on Twitter. So after this, yeah, okay, we could have taken a short here, but it is what it is. Into going from extreme to extreme, right? That's what you have to do basically when you have compressions forming. And how you could have noticed we have compression forming basically from seeing a bunch of one extreme to the other extreme to the other extreme to the other extreme, right? This is what compression looks like, right? Until it starts getting some drive to one side and accepting above as it happened, or below, it depends. So let me continue with the other trade that I took. Right when I woke up, we did have this long POI right here. I noticed some accumulation forming, right? We swept the lows here, local lows, we started getting some drive, some slow grind. I jumped into the long and took profit into the other extreme. Same logic, right? These trades are all similar, as you can see, right? Followed by the trade we took on stream on Thursday with the boys, where I jumped on longs here, basically thinking the same thing. We're into long POI, we're sitting above 4-week value high and previous week VWAP, so it might be good to have some longs going, right? My first take profit was into the other stream basically, and it was a good decision to close the whole trade there because we did have some sort of distribution forming, right? But going into Friday, right into the daily close slash open, we did have some drive above this key level right here. If you notice, we did have some drive. Myself, I didn't catch it. I was holding, okay, some runners from all these longs I took, but was really insignificant. But I'm happy though because some of the guys caught it, so it is what it is. Another long we could have taken here. If you have been into my streams, you may notice here a pattern called bait, right into a gap, followed by some drive, some acceptance above, right? I jumped into a small long here. I wasn't expecting too much out of it, but it ended up good. So yeah, the perfect trigger was right around here, or if you want a lower entry with a bit more risk into these lows, right after we got the acceptance above, just by thinking we're getting some sort of range continuation play, right? So yeah, that's basically the idea behind this. And take profits were obviously, where is previous month value high, yeah. Previous month value high, and by the time you notice some distribution forming. If we go right here into the footprints, we did have some absorption here in the highs, some buys came in. So yeah, this was definitely a sign to take some profits. They couldn't hold up price basically. So that's pretty much it. All in all the trades we took, all the trades we could have taken. Now let's see what's next. Any questions so far? You can drop them in the chat and I will be happy to answer. Also at the end of the stream or just by going into the chart. And any chart requests, I'm really happy to do them. I will take a look at hype later. So, moving forward, so the trades I took also were based off the composite we formed, right? Composite value low. This was a 2D value before the 3D value. So yeah, it was based off the fact that we were into the composite value area low as well. So yeah, as we move forward, we need to be seeing basically acceptance. If we want to be bullish, we need to be seeing acceptance above previous month value area high, right? This level right here. If we get acceptance above, get some drive higher, I'd be happy to get some longs going, with first target being 76k, as there we have the quarterly VWAP, right? 75.450.5, right? And then if we manage to flip that as well, we get some drive above here, momentum forming, we're looking for 85k. At 87k, this is where at 80k we do have the 2024 value high, right? At 87k we have the 2024 value low. So this area, if we come up here, is the most bearish level we have come into so far, because rejections into this level is showing us what? First of all, it shows us that we are not able to accept back into this 2025 value, right? And second of all, it shows us that we're accepting inside this 2024 value, right? So this by itself is bearish. Having also the 2025 value low there with a rejection is also bearish. So yeah, if this happens, we're obviously getting a rotation, in my opinion. First of all, back into 65k, and second of all into 50s, and potentially even lower, who knows, right? So that's pretty much my views on higher time frame. Let's see on lower time frame what we do. So yeah, acceptance above here, and we're looking for 75k first, and if we don't accept above here, we're looking for rotation back into 69k, 68 point something. These lows to be taken out into this POI, possibly right into 67.5. And if this doesn't hold as well, if we don't form a higher low here, we're looking for a full rotation towards 65s, right? That's what I'm looking at for now. So that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, let me know about BTC. I will go ahead and take a look at Ethereum first. So I posted today in the Discord that a big level for Ethereum to flip is 2.150. As long as we trade below that, it's bearish, and this third rejection is pretty bearish if it happens, right? So we could be getting a leg lower towards 1.5, 1.6, around there. We'll see what happens. Similar to BTC, we have some bullish momentum, with the first target being 2.3. But again, main focus is on the monthly composite, the monthly value, the previous month value. So yeah, previous month value high capping upside at 200. Right, so acceptance above here, and we're open to the scenario of going to 2.3. If we keep on rejecting, we're looking for a move back into 1.9, 1.960, 2K, around there. All right. Important level to hold also on lower time frame. 2.1 is the invalidation. Longs here look quite good, actually. If we keep on having this bullish momentum. All right, so lastly, Solana, not much to tell. We're into a bearish POI, similar to BTC and Ethereum. And lastly, Hype, which has been trading beautifully. Acceptance above developing quarter VWAP. We did have a nice drive above developing quarter value high, and then we have been trading ever since. So yeah, 35 is looking like a good level to beat if we remain bullish, with invalidation being 33.6. So that's pretty much it, my views for the market as well. Important what happens into 73k if we come back into it, and important if we accept below 72 for now. All right, so if you guys don't have any other questions, I will end the streams here, and I'll see you on the next one next week, possibly inside the Discord. All right, guys, thank you all for tuning in, and have a good weekend.